have you ever stopped to think about what really makes you, well, you? Today, we're going on a little journey to explore this super interesting world of personality. We're going to look at what makes each of us unique. Question number 1. Use one or more adjectives to tell people what kind of person you are. For example, I am easygoing, friendly, stubborn, hardworking, outgoing, and so on. Give an example. So, take a second. If you had to describe yourself, what words would you choose? There's no wrong answer here, so just be honest. If you're feeling a bit stuck, here are a few words to get you started. Do any of these feel like you? You could be patient, or maybe you're more competitive. Try using the sentence starter at the bottom to build your answer. You could say something like, I am an introverted person because I really enjoy my quiet time. See? Now it's your turn. Let's move on to our social side. Here's question number 2. Are you popular? Do you think you have the personality trait that makes people like you or dislike you? Explain. Now, this isn't about winning a popularity contest. It's more about thinking, what is it about you that draws people in? You know, some traits can be like magnets for friends. Things like being friendly or supportive. On the other hand, some traits, like maybe being a bit too stubborn, can sometimes push people away. The truth is, we all have a mix of different qualities. The important part is just being aware of how we come across to others. Let's talk about the future. Question 3 asks, what do you want to be in the future? For example, a teacher, a business person, a doctor, and so on. What personality trait do you need so that you can be successful? So think about your dream job or your biggest goal. What kind of person do you need to be to achieve it? As you can see here, different jobs often need different strengths. A great teacher needs to be patient. A doctor has to be hardworking. A business person might need to be competitive. It's really interesting how our personalities can match up with what we do for a living. Okay, time for some honest self-reflection with question 4. Do you think you have any bad personality trait or habit? What is it? What do you have to do to break it? Look, nobody's perfect. We all have things we can work on. So what's one thing you'd like to improve? And what's just one tiny step you could take to start changing it? It's all about progress, not perfection. And if you want to make a change, it really helps to have a plan. The simple 3-step process is a great way to start. First, just name the thing you want to work on. Second, really think about why it's important to you. And third, what's one small, totally doable thing you can do about it? And maybe the most powerful question of all, do you agree that personality decides our destiny? Why or why not? Give an example. Do you think people can change their personality? Wow. So are we locked into a certain future because of who we are? Or do we have the power to change our path? Personality decides our destiny. That's a really powerful statement, isn't it? It suggests that the way we think and act on the inside ultimately creates the life we have on the outside. Do you buy that? Do you think we are the writers of our own story? And you know, that really gets the heart of it. Getting to know yourself isn't something you do once. It's a lifelong journey of discovery. It's about continuing to learn, continuing to grow, and just appreciating the amazing, complicated, and always changing person that you are. All right, this next one is a biggie. Question 6, what is the most important personality trait if we want to be successful? Explain with examples. If you had to pick just one single trait that leads to success, what would it be? Think about people you admire who are successful. What do they have in common? So, what do you think is the real key? Is it just pure hard work? Or is it being patient and waiting for the right moment? Maybe it's being competitive and always wanting to win. Or could it be being supportive of others? What's your gut feeling on this one? Let's shift gears and talk about friends. Question 7 is, what kind of people are more likely to be your friends? For example, they are helpful, they have the same interests as yours, they are supportive, and so on. Give an example. We don't become friends with just anyone, right? We're usually drawn to certain types of people. What qualities do you look for? Here are some common qualities that make a great friend. Maybe you like people who are supportive or people who share your hobbies. You can use the sentence starter to put your thoughts into words. For me, I'd say I like to be friends with people who are funny and kind. Okay, time to put on our detective hats. Question 8 asks, how can we know people better? For example, their education, family, friends, job, and so on. Explain. When you first meet someone, what clues do you look for to get a sense of who they are deep down? So here are some of the usual clues we might look at. Some people believe that a person's job tells you a lot about them. Others think the best way to know someone is to meet their friends. What do you think? Which one of these gives you the best insight into a person's true character? Let's dig a little deeper with question 9. This is that classic question, what decides personality? For example, heredity, environment, family education, and so on. So are we born a certain way, or does the world around us shape us into who we are? It's the whole nature versus nurture debate. So you've got the 3 main players here. Is it our genes, the stuff we get from our parents? Is it our environment, like where we grow up and the experiences we have? Or is it how we're raised by our family? Which one do you think plays the biggest role in shaping who we become? Okay, now we're getting into a really interesting topic. Question 10 asks us to think about this. What are some differences between men and women in personality traits? For example, women are more patient or boys are better at math. Women are more talkative and so on. This can be a tricky subject, so let's explore it with an open mind. Here are a few common stereotypes that you often hear. It's really important to remember that these are just general ideas, not facts that apply to everyone. So let's use these as a starting point for a discussion. Do these ideas match what you've seen in your own life? Why do you think these stereotypes even exist? So as we wrap this up, I have one last question for you. After thinking about all of this, what's one new thing you realized or learned about yourself today? Whatever that little insight is, hold on to it. Let it be a guide as you continue on your journey. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and never, ever stop being curious about you.
Beyond Norm, where English isn't just a subject, it's a way to think, grow, and connect.